What up, motherfuckers? It's the Hater, and it's time for one of my favorite videos of all time. Today, we're gonna talk about 50 reasons, 50 motherfuckers why Vince McMahon rules. All right, normally I do 25 reasons, but for the big man himself, I had to go 50 motherfuckers. Vince McMahon is awesome. He's the best. So if you don't think that he's awesome and that he's the best, you can suck a fat one as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a fuck, motherfuckers. All right. I'm also getting really bored because the coronavirus is getting to me. I've been really busy with work, but I've recorded a lot of videos that, quite frankly, I just haven't had time to just make the video itself. I've recorded it, but I gotta get the thumbnail. You know how it goes, motherfuckers. So one of these days, I'm going to declare, what's it called? Hater Mania 2 or 3, whatever the fuck it is, motherfuckers. And we're gonna go with that. And I'm going to post a lot of videos. But for today, we're going to talk about, fuck it. How about this? Hater Mania will begin after this video is released. And I will release several videos after this. The majority of which will probably come tomorrow. It may be a 2-day Hater Mania. You know what I'm saying? Too big for just one night, motherfuckers. All right, anyways. So tomorrow and the day after will be Hater Mania 2. You're going to see a lot of videos from me. But now, let's get to 50 reasons, 50 motherfucks why Vince McMahon rules. Starting with reason number 1. He's a billionaire, motherfuckers. He's a billionaire. Now, for all of you that don't know, there is a very small number of billionaires in the world. All right? As a matter of fact, let's Google it and see how many motherfuckers there are. There are only 2,208 billionaires in the world. And one of them is Vince McMahon, and he is by far the coolest one of those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Reason number 2, Vince has always been in fantastic shape. You know, this is something that is even more impressive considering he's a billionaire. He doesn't have to do this, right? That's kind of the story here. That's kind of the theme of this 50 reasons. He doesn't have to do much of what he does, but he does it anyways, motherfuckers. He does it anyways. Vince was always jacked. I remember Stone Cold saying once that when he wrestled Vince, he always felt bad because Vince McMahon had a superior physique to his. You know what I'm saying? That's how good McMahon is. He has a better physique than the top star of his company. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's a better businessman and he's better at lifting motherfuckers. You understand me? Reason number 3, he takes risks, motherfuckers. He takes risks. If you don't take risks, you'll never achieve your highest potential. Vince takes risks. The best example of this is his ability to just pivot and change things as he needs to. You know what I mean? He does not just continue with the same thing. He innovates. He's actually the one that reinvents himself and his businesses. Which brings me to reason 4. He restarted the XFL, motherfuckers. Talk about risk. He started a company that was going to compete against NFL. Then that failed. Then he started the company again, motherfuckers, and it looks like it's failed again because of coronavirus, but it was doing well. You know, he definitely learned from his mistakes, and I would not put it past him to start it 3 times. Believe you me, motherfuckers, believe you me. Reason 5, he is not a pussy. This is a very important reason. Nowadays, almost everyone is a pussy, and Vince McMahon is not. You know, apparently one of my friends was texting me that Sami Zayn started some like charity in Syria or something, and Sami Zayn got pissed off and wrote an anti-Trump tweet that Cody Rhodes liked. Who gives a fuck about any of this? Sami Zayn is a pussy. What do you think of them apples? Reason 6, he is friends with Trump, and that's cool, motherfuckers. That's cool. It goes to show that if you hang out with successful people, you will become successful too. So there you go. Keep that in mind, motherfuckers. Reason 7. Vince McMahon's wife, Linda McMahon, was the head of the Small Business Administration, motherfuckers. That goes to show that his family is not just sitting on their asses going off the glory of Vince McMahon. They're out there doing shit. Reason 8. Vince is a great businessman. One of the greatest of all time, if you ask me, motherfuckers. One of the best of all time by far is Vinnie Mac, you know? He's someone that, like, he made billions of dollars by creating fake fights. I don't know anyone else that could have done that, if I'm being honest, right? And beyond that, he has grown his company to be like essentially like a giant corporation that controls interests in many things, and also has their fingers dipped in every market there is with wrestling, and now with movies, music, a lot of other shit, video games, he's in that, action figures, he's licensed his brand so much, and it's made him so much money, motherfuckers. There you have it. Reason number 9. Vince McMahon does not bend to the will of inferior men. All right? Vince McMahon is not someone that's going to look someone in the eye and ever say, you are better than me. You know what I'm saying? It's not in his nature. He is a winner. You understand what I'm saying? He does not bend to the will of these weak people who are like, if you don't do this, there's the door, motherfucker. There's the door, CM Punk. Bounce. We're doing it my way or we're not doing it at all. Now go complain for the next 10 years and, you know, every once in a while, go to UFC to get your ass beat, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Reason number 10. Patrice O'Neal once said that Vince McMahon was one of 3 people that he felt emasculated by, basically. There you go, motherfuckers. That right there speaks for itself. Reason 11. Vince McMahon would beat up Cody Rhodes even at 70 whatever years old he is. Let's be real. Vince McMahon is a monster. He would bitch slap the yellow off Cody Rhodes' hair. Reason 12. He understands wrestling better than everyone on earth. This is probably the most important reason, objectively speaking. This idea that Vince is out of touch and some fat neckbeard that started watching wrestling after WrestleMania 29 understands it is ridiculous. Vince is wrestling, motherfuckers. Vince is not out of touch. Vince determines what it means to be in touch. He is the measuring stick of what makes wrestling good or bad. It's not Dave Meltzer who's like, Vince doesn't get it, but the guy that started AJWP, like New Japan, like subsidiary, that guy gets it. That guy doesn't get anything. That guy stays up at night thinking, how can I be like Vince? Vince goes to bed at night thinking, who the fuck is this guy? So there you go, motherfucks. Vince is a beast. All right, here it is. Reason number 13. He understands that products like AEW and indie wrestling are garbage, and that's why he does not watch it, motherfuckers. That's just how it is. Reason 14. He is one of the best characters of all time. The character of Mr. McMahon is one of the best characters of all time. He is the stereotypical evil boss cranked up to 11, and it makes sense, it fits, it works, and it works even better considering that Mr. McMahon was also, for the most part, not a pussy. You know, he was not afraid to get his hands dirty. He would do wrestling matches. He would put himself in situations like that. He was a hands-on boss. He is awesome. All right, reason, let's see, 15. He decided to bury Ricochet, motherfuckers, and that's a good reason for me. Reason 16. He decided to make Cody Rhodes into Stardust, which was a good move for Cody Rhodes. So that's that right there. Reason 17. He is part of literally the greatest feud in the history of wrestling. Let's be real. The greatest feud in the history of wrestling is Vince McMahon and Stone Cold. That feud lasted for like 1,000 years. You know, it started in the 90s and it kept going all the way till Stone Cold was released, basically. I mean, not released, but all the way to when Stone Cold left. It was such a good feud that it became the central feud of the Invasion angle, too. A lot of people think the Invasion angle was about, like this is why people are idiots. You know, they're like, oh, the Invasion angle didn't showcase Buff Bagwell. It wasn't about him, motherfuckers. The main character of the Invasion angle was Vince McMahon, and then Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon were the bad guys. Those were the characters, the main characters of the Invasion angle. Everyone else was just a soldier, was just a unit, right? Buff Bagwell was not important. The point of the Invasion angle was not to get Buff Bagwell over. The point was to continue to solidify WWE's performance and superiority by having them destroy WCW in the end, motherfuckers, while consequentially putting over some stars if they could. But the main character of that feud was Vince McMahon. And the story there was not all Stone Cold betrayed the WWE. The main story was Stone Cold finally had the opportunity to really stick it to Vince, kayfabe-wise, right? And now, Vince McMahon was the face in some ways, and Stone Cold was the heel in some ways. And that's why it's the greatest story of all time, motherfuckers. Anyways, here we got it. Reason 18. He's got big grapefruits, motherfuckers. He's got the big grapefruits. That's another reason by itself. Reason 19, he has signed everyone in the history of wrestling that matters. Everyone good has been signed by Vince McMahon. No one good has not been signed by Vince McMahon. This goes to show that he is good at wrestling. Every bad person that WWE has signed has been signed by Triple H, motherfuckers. Oh, here's Sin Cara. Here's this guy. They all suck ass. Get out of here. Beat it. What else we got here? Reason 20. Motherfuckers. The worst wrestler Vince has ever signed is better than the best wrestler Triple H or AEW have ever signed. Think about what that means and get back to me. Reason 21. Vince McMahon was part of other great storylines beyond the one with Stone Cold. Storylines like Vince McMahon versus Zach Gowen, motherfuckers, which is one of the greatest moments in SmackDown history when Zach Gowen wins his contract because it was so well done. And at the heart of that was what? Vince McMahon, motherfuckers. Reason 22. He decided to erase Chris Benoit from history and prevent him from being in the Hall of Fame. That's a good reason. I don't give a shit about Benoit. He's a murdering son bitch. What do you think of that? Reason 23. He's got swagger, motherfuckers. He's got swagger. Vince McMahon is talked about in songs because Vince McMahon is legitimately cool. Next time I hear Cody Rhodes' name in a song, it'll probably be some indie garbage. You understand what I'm saying? There you go, motherfuckers. Reason 24. He always gives the better wrestlers a push. This is an important thing worthy of its own video. I'm tired of this, like, oh, this guy never got a push. The best wrestlers always get a push. It's as simple as that. The only difference is that sometimes people don't see what is the best wrestler. There's only so many. Being pushed is a scarce resource. Only so many people can be pushed at any given time. So in order to get pushed, you have to stand out. And the people that do always get pushed. I can't think of a wrestler, maybe Cesaro, maybe. And that's a stretch too, motherfuckers. There are plenty of wrestlers that get pushed that don't deserve to get pushed, but the better wrestlers always get a push at some point. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so if you have like Rey Mysterio, he'll be out there doing nothing for a couple of years, but eventually he will get pushed. The cream will rise to the top. The better wrestlers eventually come out on top. Again, I'm sure people can think of a counterexample here and there, but I'm talking about a real counterexample. I'm not talking about someone who's marginally better than someone else, and you think he should be WWE champion. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Gallows and Anderson never got a push. Yeah, Gallows and Anderson aren't better than the Revival. They're not worse than the Revival, but they're not better than them either. They're not better than the Viking Raiders, but they're not worse than them either. They're the same shit. There's nothing special about Gallows and Anderson that would merit this like giant push that people expect him to get. So that's what I'm saying, motherfucks. Reason 25, my personal favorite. He put WCW out of business, motherfucks, and that's a good reason. Reason 26, on the same line, he embarrassed Ted Turner, motherfuckers. He embarrassed Billionaire Ted. He got him good by the balls, and he put him in his place. Which brings me to reason 27. He will embarrass Ted Turner again, motherfuckers, once AEW goes out of business. Reason 28, Tony Khan and Shad Khan wish they were Vince McMahon. They look themselves in the mirror and they say, I wish I were Vince. That's what they think probably every day. They probably think, I wish I was as jacked as Vince is. I wish I was as successful at wrestling as Vince is. And I wish I had the charisma of Vince because he dominates them in all those categories, motherfuckers. Reason 29, Cody wishes he were Vince, motherfuckers. Cody wishes he had the wrestling ability, knowledge, and charisma of Vince. He has none of those things. Reason 30, Luke Harper was put in his place by Vince McMahon, and that makes me happy, motherfuckers. Reason 31, he has allowed himself to take some great bumps even though he doesn't need to. This is very, very important. Vince McMahon can easily make it so his wrestling matches are all like some of his more recent ones, where it's him and let's say Umaga or something versus him, Umaga and Shane versus one person, right? Versus Lashley. But that's not what he's done. A lot of times, Vince McMahon has put himself right there and he has taken some big bumps. Bumps that other people don't take. And he doesn't need to, motherfuckers. He's the owner. But he leads by example. That's why Vince is awesome, motherfuckers. Next up, what do we got here? 32, reason 32. Vince McMahon doesn't mind embarrassing himself to entertain fans. Let's be real. Vince McMahon is right there, ready to get his ass beat, ready to do the job. He almost never puts himself over, and when he does, it's just to further a point and further a storyline. Vince McMahon is out there making an ass out of himself for the better of the business. Now, Cody Rhodes, on the other hand, goes and books himself as the main star of his company. So there you go. I think that speaks for itself, motherfuckers. Reason 33. If he wanted to, Vince McMahon could have bitch slapped CM Punk, and Punk would do absolutely nothing. And stop with these fantasies. I understand back then they were half believable. Oh, CM Punk would beat up Triple H in a fight. CM Punk would do fuck all against Triple H in a fight. Triple H would bitch slap him and end his career. And on that same vein, Vince McMahon would bitch slap CM Punk and say, get out of my office, pussy boy. That's exactly what would happen. If you think CM Punk had a chance, then I suggest you go watch those UFC fights, because that's about the chance that he'd have against Vince, motherfucks. Reason 34. Vince McMahon embarrassed Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is considered this like great mind in wrestling, but let's call it like it is. Vince McMahon took him out of business and embarrassed him several times since then. Reason number 35. He embarrassed Eric Bischoff several times for trying to make fun of McMahon and trying to put McMahon out of business. He threw him in a dumpster. Think about that. That's the kind of petty shit McMahon is capable of, motherfucks. Reason 36. The Vince McMahon walk, motherfucks, that was stolen by Conor McGregor. That's how cool McMahon is. He gets his shit stolen by people who are also cool. Reason 37. The product of his loins, Shane McMahon, has done some of the best spots of all time. Shane McMahon is known for doing the craziest shit, and this is directly a result of being the product of the loins of Vince McMahon, motherfuckers. Reason 38. He made the Invasion storyline to further embarrass WCW, along with other reasons that I mentioned. That's the kind of petty shit, like I said before, motherfuckers. Vince McMahon buried WCW multiple times. I love it. Reason 39. He is masculine, motherfuckers. He is masculine. He's not some effeminate guy with blonde hair and a nose ring with a stupid ass neck tattoo, and or like the young cucks who are these like, oh, look at me, I'm cute. No. Vince McMahon is a man, motherfuckers. He is a man. And that's fucking awesome. Reason 40. He is still in control of his company, despite everything else. Despite the fact that Vince McMahon could have retired in like 90... Realistically, Vince McMahon could have retired the day after he bought WCW. He could have said, here you go, JR, run the company. Here's $200K a year. Run the company, jabron. Right? Or here you go, Laurinaitis. No, Vince McMahon doesn't do that. Vince McMahon instead controls the company. He's out there growing his business well into his 70s, and he will continue to do so well into his 80s and well into his 90s and likely well into his hundreds, motherfuckers. I don't see this guy slowing down. Think about that, motherfuckers. Reason 41. His company has advanced substantially because of him and him alone in the past decade. All these great ideas are Vince McMahon ideas, and if you don't think so, you're wrong about that, motherfuckers. Reason 42. Vince McMahon gave $1 million away to fans because he's awesome, motherfuckers. Reason 43. Vince McMahon would beat the shit out of Tony Khan even today. Let's deal with it. He would manhandle Tony Khan. You understand what I'm saying? Reason 44. Vince McMahon actually loves the business, unlike these other jobbers that have been around for like 10 years, and they're like, I love the business. It means everything to me. Shut up. Vince McMahon invented it. So you don't love it more than he does, motherfuckers. Let me go. Where do you leave off here? Reason 45, motherfuckers. Reason 45. He gives jobs to people when he can, even though they don't really need those people. Like, he has hired people like Primo and Epico. They don't need them. Now, I know you were thinking, oh, but if he doesn't hire them, then they might become big stars in, like, AEW. Now, let's be real. Some people, I'm sure, would become bigger stars than they are in WWE. But let's be real. Primo and Epico would not become big stars anywhere. Vince McMahon has done them both a huge favor and paid them millions of dollars over 10 years in order for those motherfuckers to have a job. So there you go. Cats. There you go. Reason 46, motherfuckers. Reason 46. The Vince McMahon zero tolerance policy. That was a great angle, and I have a feeling that it mirrors the kind of way Vince McMahon acts when people start running their mouths and talking shit, motherfuckers. Reason 47. The ruthless aggression era, motherfuckers. Second only to the Attitude Era. The ruthless aggression era was awesome. And once again, at the center of it was Vince asking people to man up, be men. Ruthless aggression. Reason 48. His dancing, motherfuckers. Vince McMahon's dancing is hilarious, and he's awesome for it. And here's another reason. Here's a bonus reason. The catchphrase, "You're fired." That's awesome too. That's a bonus reason. Reason 49. He killed himself off on TV and came back the next week to announce Chris Benoit's real-life murder. That's how cool McMahon is. He can die 1 week and come back from the dead, motherfuckers. Fuck Undertaker and all that shit. Oh, Undertaker back from the dead. Vince McMahon came back from the dead and just said, yo, this shit's fake. Deal with it, motherfuckers. And the most important reason by far, this is the most important reason in the history of reasons. Reason number 50. The 50th reason and the most important reason why Vince McMahon is the best ever and is awesome is that Vince McMahon, as we know it, invented wrestling. That's right, motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck what happened before Vince. That doesn't count. When Vince McMahon took wrestling from this bullshit carny nonsense and he decided to market it and add storylines and elements like that, and make it, more importantly, make it mainstream, he invented the medium that we all like so much. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon, there would be no hater, motherfuckers. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon, there would be no Cucky Rhodes, and there would be no AEW, there would be no New Japan, there would be no ECW, there would be no ROH, there would be no MSW, whatever the fuck all that bullshit is. None of that shit would ever exist if it weren't for Vince McMahon. And instead of Dave Meltzer would be like some retard, some like anonymous like baseball critic that everyone would make fun of. If it weren't for Vince McMahon, and this is why I get pissed off when these motherfuckers talk shit about Vince. Like, if it weren't for Vince McMahon, you motherfuckers would have nothing. Nothing. Do you think Cody Rhodes could make it in anything else? Like, as an athlete, and make the living he makes now without Vince? Zero chance, motherfuckers. Zero chance. He's not charismatic enough. He's not athletic enough. But with Vince, even someone like Cucky Rhodes is capable of becoming somebody. That's what I gotta say about that. And with that, I bid you guys adieu and tell you to go fuck yourselves.